back to Road Solutions. Today we're going to be looking at how to change over the inner tube and also the tyre on your mountain bike. Right, to take the rear wheel off, I need to loosen this bolt here, hold this one, okay, and once the bolt is released I can then release the rear wheel, but in order to do that I need to release the chain, get the chain off the sprocket, off the gearing. Actually, that's going to need to come straight off. I'll pull this forward, release that, and that wheel should come off. Right, once you've got the wheel off, then what you need to be doing is looking for the valve, make sure the valve cap's off. It should be, because you've let the air out. Now what I use is a flat bit of metal. You can get specific tools, but I will place that underneath the rim, and I will then try and prise the tyre out from underneath the rim. And once you've got one section of it prized out, just like that, you can lift it and you can start working all the way around the rim to pop the tyre off. And if you've got nice rims, you can obviously put a cloth over the rim so you don't end up scratching it like I'm doing, but these are old tyres so I'm not too worried about that. And then as you work it around, try not to let the rubber go back underneath the rim, otherwise you're going to start all over again. But as it bends over, it should stay up. Then once you've got a decent amount of it, you can then pretty much just pull it off, just like that, run it all the way around, and we've got one side off. Sometimes you should be able to just peel it completely off the rim. There we go. And that's all off. Okay, once you've got the rim off, you don't need the tyre, pop it to one side and then get your new tyre and also your new inner tube. Then once you've got your new inner tube, you'll be looking to make sure that it's the correct size for your tyre and your rim. So this is a 26-inch rim, 26-inch tyre, 26-inch inner tube. We're going to take this inner tube out. Comes with an elastic band, get rid of that. Alright, just roll it out. Take your valve cap off. Once your valve cap is off, you can then poke it through the actual rim. And the valve cap is going to be facing inwards, like that. Now what we need to do is locate the valve entrance, which is just here. So pop that in. Now once that's through, if you do put the valve cap back on, it just prevents it from pulling back through. And just run that around the tyre, around the rim, make sure it fits, yep. Now we've got to put the tyre over, so we'll start with the valve cap area, because that's where it held onto the tyre. And just poke the inner tube inside. Now the reason I'm replacing these tyres is because I'm using it more on the road than I am off-road, so I thought I'd go for thinner tyres, make it work a little bit easier. Okay, so that's going to go on nicely. Now what we need to do is put a little bit of air in the inner tube, just so we can start filling it up. So that's all in, nice and level. Now we need to pump it up. As we pump it up, keep it on the inside of the rim and it will connect. Right, so once you're happy, it's all set up, ready to go, get your pump, screw it on, put a few pumps in, just a few, just so it starts to fill out the tube. As it does that, again, start in one area. I'm going to start by the valve cap. I'm just going to make sure the tyre sits on the inside of the rim. And I'm just going to run it around just like that. You get to a point where it will pop, and once it's popped in, there we go. It should be pretty straightforward from there, just to get the rest of it in. Nice and easy. Make sure the back doesn't come off as well though, because if the back comes off, you can have issues getting it on. So put a little bit more air in. It should make it a bit easier to get on. If you can't get on first time, just go back round it, make sure it lines up correctly, poking any inner tube sticking out, and you should find it all just tucks in nice and easy. This is the area I'm having a bit of trouble with around here. It's not going in. I'll just work on that a little bit more. There we go. It's popped in all around there. There we go. Push that in. Just stand that up a little bit just so it all goes on. And there we go. Right. So that's all in nice and tight. And now we can put some air in. So as we pump this, just look for any areas where it's going to pop off the rim. As long as it doesn't, you should be okay to keep pumping it. Give it a feel every now and again, make sure the valve's on tight. Air's going in. At this point, if you got when you got the wheel off, you can give your sprocket a nice big clean up. I mean, I've only just recently lubricated this, so I'm not going to touch that. I'll just leave it as it is. Okay, so it holds air, which is good. Now these tyres are a lot thinner than the other one, so I might be able to get the actual tyre onto the bike through the brake pads without having to let the air out. We'll give it a try if we need to, and we'll just let some air out. Right, so now what we want to do is make sure that this sprocket is on the same side as the chain, otherwise we'll have to take it all off again. So put this on. Now I've loosened off the actual brakes, I can get the tyre in without having to deflate it. So the tyre is inside where the brakes are. Get the spindles into the holders and the tyre's on. Nice and easy. So what we need to do now is get this chain, put it back over the actual sprocket. So for that we're going to have to take off the wheel slightly, lift this up, drop the chain underneath that spindle just like that, get it lined up on the gears. Doesn't matter what gear, just as long as it's on the gears. Get the tyre back inside, it's held on. Okay, so the gears aren't lined up and the chain's not lined up because it's grinding a little bit. So what we'll do is just release the tension on that, slacken the chain off, line it up nicely, pop it back on, and there we go. Okay, now what we need to do is put the bolts and nuts back on, make sure it's all leveled up. So first one we're going to do is this one. I'm just going to pop that on there. Now as we put these on, we want to make sure that they kind of line up so the wheel isn't being pulled off at an angle, so otherwise you have a wonky wheel. Just do it hand tight to begin with, make sure it's not cross threading. Right, so one of them's on, just nip them up, and that wheel should still free flow. There we go. Yep, that works. Now the last thing we need to do is just tighten up the brakes, and once you've got it, again just give it a test. So that is the back brake all fitted, the back wheel on, new tyre, and everything is ready to go for the back. Right, so the back is all done, we just need to put the front wheel back on. So again, common sense, your brake disc onto the side where the brake caliper is. This is a quick release bike, so you've got a spring on either side. You just need to make sure that fits in nicely. Make sure the wheel's straight as it goes on. Give it a little spin, make sure it's free flowing. There's a little bit of resistance on this one, so I'm just going to push that out. Tighten it up a few. And with this one, you've got to tighten it to the point where you can still lock the wheel, because this is quite an old quick release bike, and as you tighten it and press it down, it bends the wheel. So that seems to be okay. It flows nicely. There's no weird movement. So the only thing left to do now is put some air on the tyres and go for a ride, see if it all works. So that was how to change your Pushbike tyre and inner tube from Rev Solutions. If you haven't already, click on the subscribe button, click on the like if you like this video. It's quite a simple introduction, just how to change a bike tyre and inner tube. No special tools required on this one, just a lever, and also hit that bell notifications for our next videos. Stay tuned.